I welcome you all to the session of hydraulic machines, and today our discussion will be on the positive displacement pump. In fact, we are discussing about the working principle of the positive displacement pump, and we have also discussed about the indicator diagram, which gives us some physical insights into the operational procedure as well as the change of pressure volume of the fluid being handled by the positive displacement pump. So, in continuation of that, in fact, we have discussed that the simplified diagram that we have discussed in the previous class does not take into account two different effects, that is the inertia effect of the liquid as well as the frictional effect of the liquid when it is passing through the suction pipe and the delivery pipe. So, we will discuss today that if we take those two effects into account and then the indicator diagram will be modified. So, today this is the schematic depiction of the positive displacement pump. So, we had discussion that this is the cylinder, this is cylinder or pump cylinder, this is the piston, and we have discussed that the reciprocating motion of the piston, which is important to have flow of fluid from the suction tank. So, this is suction tank to the delivery tank. Okay. And to have this reciprocating motion of the piston, we have another mechanical element, that is the crank and connecting rod mechanism. So, depending on the speed of the crank, the whole cycle will be repeated, and that is what we had discussed. Now, as I said that piston will have movement between two stops, say this is the, that is rather the movement of the piston, I mean this is having a stroke length. So, you have studied in internal combustion engine that the piston is moving between two centers, that is the top dead center and bottom dead center. Similarly, here also piston movement will be restricted between two stops, and that is nothing but the length between these two stops is known as stroke length. So, I am writing stroke length that is the length between, I mean length over which piston will have reciprocating movement. So, stroke length, say this is S, okay. And today we will see that if we would like to modify the indicator diagram, in fact, if I try to draw the indicator diagram today, and then it will help us to understand the modification which we are looking for. So, this is the volume and this is the pressure. So, this is constant pressure, say this is P ATM, and we had discussion that, so this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. So, this is the simplified indicator diagram that we have discussed in the previous class. So, let us briefly discuss it again. You know that we have discussed that when piston is at the cylinder inner end. So, this is cylinder inner end. So, this is I and this is O. So, this is cylinder inner end and this is cylinder outer end. So, when piston travels, its movement during suction stroke rather at the beginning of the suction stroke piston will be very close to the piston inner end, right. Now, when piston is moving towards the outer end, inside the cylinder pressure will reduce and the reduction of pressure will be such that the pressure difference between rather suction tank is open to atmosphere. So, here atmospheric pressure is acting, that is what it is shown, that is open to atmosphere, right. So, the reduction in pressure inside the cylinder below the atmospheric pressure, that will create a driving force which will allow liquid to flow from suction tank into the cylinder, right. And see, basically this is the beginning of the suction stroke, that is represented in this PV diagram by point A. Okay. Now, when piston is reaching at the outer end of the cylinder, and that is shown by point B, as if the pressure inside the cylinder is remaining constant, but that will not be the case in real situation. But as I told you, the simplified analysis does not take into account other effects, and as a result of which we had to rely on this simplified indicator diagram in the previous class. Okay. So, you can understand when piston will be reaching at the outer end of the cylinder, right. So, then liquid rather piston movement is getting decelerated. Here as the piston movement is getting decelerated, you try to understand the piston is driven by a prime mover. So, this is crank radius r and this is rotating at an angular velocity omega speed. Okay. So, you can see, say if this angle is theta and say this is the piston displacement, linear displacement of the piston. So, this is x, this is A, this is B. So, A is the initial location of the piston, initial location of piston, B is the final location. So, as if when piston is at suction at the inner end of the cylinder, and that time. So, I am not writing initial location, rather I will write initial location of the piston rod, it is connecting rod. So, I may remove it. So, initial position. Okay. So, now question is what will happen if you would like to consider the effect, and that will be there because of the acceleration and deceleration of the piston. See, again I am telling liquid will start flowing from suction tank to the rather into the cylinder, and rather that is during suction stroke, and again from the cylinder to the delivery tank during delivery stroke. So, the liquid velocity which will be there through the suction pipeline and the delivery pipeline. So, this is delivery pipe. Delivery pipe. This is suction pipe. Okay. Very important. Let me talk about a few important issues. See, the movement of the piston is initiating, as if in this particular case the movement of the piston is initiating the liquid movement. So, the liquid velocity through the suction pipeline or the delivery pipeline or even inside the cylinder will be governed by the movement of the piston, which in turn essentially will depend on the omega, right. So, it is very important that we will be talking about frictional losses, we will be talking about inertia effect of the liquid that is there in the suction pipe and also in the delivery pipe, but the inertia effect and the fluid frictional losses when we will try to calculate, we also need to calculate the liquid velocity. You try to understand liquid velocity will be, the magnitude of the liquid velocity will depend on the speed of the piston, and that will eventually will depend on the rotational speed of the crank. So, now see, question is when the piston is having movement from inner end to the outer end during suction stroke. So, the liquid inside the liquid that is there in the cylinder as well as also in the suction pipeline will feel acceleration effect, right. So, this is suddenly it is starting movement from inner end to the outer end, and as a result of which liquid in the cylinder as well as in the relevant pipeline. So, relevant pipeline here refers to the liquid which is there in the suction pipeline during suction stroke. So, that liquid will feel acceleration. What will happen when the piston is about to reach at the outer end of the cylinder? That time liquid inside the cylinder as well as in the relevant pipeline, that is in the suction pipeline, will feel deceleration effect. Now, try to understand this acceleration effect and deceleration effect that is now there in this scenario, that is eventually governed by the acceleration effect and deceleration effect of the piston itself. So, we need to consider first the two effect, that is the inertia effect. Okay. So, the inertia effect we will consider, right. So, this is, so basically the when liquid is trying to accelerate or decelerate, liquid volume in the suction pipe will have inertia effect, right. See, when piston is starting its movement from the inner end to the outer end at the beginning of the suction stroke. So, the piston will have acceleration, right. So, the liquid which is very close to the piston face, which will definitely try to accelerate with the piston, but the liquid which is there in the suction pipeline, because of its inertia, try to oppose. So, now what will happen if we take that inertia effect into account? So, you try to understand this inertia effect, actually it is not in the, I mean, though this effect, inertia effect due to acceleration and deceleration, those are discussed in detail, but I mean I would like to write the expression, that is rho g into h I. Derivation of this particular form, that is inertia effect, is given in most of the undergraduate textbook or postgraduate textbooks of fluid mechanics. So, you may just consult those books to have the derivation of this particular form. So, this is inertia effect rho g h I. Now, you understand for the present analysis, when liquid is getting, so liquid movement is there. So, here we will have one valve and liquid movement is there, right. So, liquid movement is there. Now, if we try to recall, so rho g into h I, as I told that inertia will try to, so when piston is having movement at the I mean from inner end to the outer end, rather at the beginning of the suction stroke, acceleration of the piston will be affected, acceleration of the piston will try to accelerate the liquid which is there in the cylinder, also that is there in the suction pipeline, but the liquid inertia will have an important effect on that. So, basically the acceleration and deceleration effect, these two effects are involved with the additional pressure. So, you can understand when the piston is moving towards the outer end at the beginning of the suction stroke, inside the cylinder more I think negative pressure. So, inside the cylinder liquid will have, I can understand that there will be further drop in pressure. So, basically you can understand what I will write. So, let me first write this expression. So, this is rho dV dt into, let me discuss about. So, this is rho dV dt into h I. So, this is length of the suction and delivery pipeline. Okay. So, this is length of the suction and delivery pipeline. See, try to understand what I said, that the liquid when the at the beginning of the suction stroke, we are expecting that more vacuum will be created inside the cylinder and pressure will fall further, and that is because of the inertial effect. So, basically what you know that, so more vacuum will be created and liquid will not be liquid which is there in the suction pipeline will not respond to that, that is due to the inertia effect. Okay. So, now what I have written over here is h I, that is the liquid volume that is there in the suction pipeline. So, eventually when we will try to calculate the inertia pressure due to inertia effect, we have to consider the length of the suction pipeline as well as the delivery pipeline. Okay. So, I mean, let me tell you again, when piston is about to start its journey from the inner end to the outer end, because the acceleration effect of the piston will try to create more vacuum inside the cylinder, but so basically pressure will fall further, but that effect, I mean the response to that drop in pressure will not be felt over here because of the inertia effect, inertia of the liquid that is there in the suction pipeline. Okay. So, now I mean you can understand, so this will be, so this expression will be rho dvi dv dt into suction length, this is during suction stroke, and this should be rho dv dt LD during delivery stroke. Okay. Try to understand, this is essentially rho GH, that is pressure. So, what I said that this acceleration and deceleration effect of the piston is involved with additional pressure, and that we need to take into account. So, you can understand, again I am telling this is V. So, this is fluid velocity, here V is the velocity of the liquid, right. What I was discussing about is very important to understand, that the liquid velocity will be governed by the velocity of the piston. So, if we try to calculate the additional pressure drop or increase in the cylinder because of the acceleration and deceleration effect, we need to relate the liquid velocity to the velocity of the piston, right, otherwise we will not be able to calculate. So, the amount, the magnitude, if we try to find out the magnitude of this amount, this quantity, then what we need to do, we need to relate this velocity, the velocity of the liquid to the velocity of the piston, and that is essentially driven by a prime mover. So, you try to understand, see the liquid is supposed to move towards the cylinder at the beginning of the cylinder because of the additional pressure drop. So, we know, we have studied in fluid mechanics that mass conservation, that is continuity equation, will be satisfied. So, if we try to understand that now, having written these two expression, so having rather established these two expression, that is rho dv dt Ls and rho dv dt Ld, that is the additional pressure being involved with the acceleration and deceleration effect of the piston, can be calculated using these two expression, and here V is the velocity of the liquid, and we need to relate, rather we need to calculate the velocity of the, rather we can calculate velocity, because velocity of the liquid what will be there in the pipeline, that will depend on the velocity of the piston. So, our next objective should be to relate this quantity to the velocity of the piston. So, if I apply that, say A into V equal to, so this is area of the suction stroke delivery pipe, and this is velocity of liquid equal to A into U. So, this is piston velocity or speed, and this is cross sectional area of the cylinder. Okay. So, this is very common, you have studied in fluid mechanics. Now, we are now working with constant density liquid, so rho is not coming. So, it is not a case that density will vary from suction pipeline to I mean density is different over here and over here, right. So, constant density liquid being handled by this pump. So, that is the case. So, we can from this expression we can write V will be equal to A by small a into u, right, that is the expression. Now, try to understand, till now we really do not have explicit expression of u, rather we can try to relate this u in terms of the what, that is the crank rotation and the crank angle, right. So, what we need to do, we need to somehow calculate u in terms of the crank speed. So, what we can do, we can calculate the velocity of the piston with, and which is driven by this prime mover. So, we know omega, we know theta. So, we need to calculate u from the displacement equation of the crank, which in turn will depend on the crank speed omega and the crank angle theta and also crank radius r. Okay. So, now if we plug in the value of these two expression, you can understand that what will be the value. So, it will be, so we know V. So, from there we can easily calculate what will be the magnitude of this. Now, dV dt into Ls. So, additional pressure being involved, with the acceleration and deceleration effects will be now rho Ls into A by A into du dt, right. So, will be rho Ls into capital A by A, right, then du dt, that will be du dt, very simple. So, this is du dt, right, and rho L d A by A into du dt, try to understand. So, this is due to acceleration deceleration for the suction stroke, and this is due to these two effects for the delivery stroke. Okay. So, now question is, if we try to superimpose the effect which will be there due to inertia. So, the additional pressure, so I mean you can see that this particular effect will lead to the alteration of the pressure volume, not volume but the pressure. So, if we now go to the indicated diagram and if we try to draw using different color, say this color, then what will be the diagram. So, you can understand, as I told you. So, this is quite expected, that is simplified analysis, but at the beginning of the suction stroke inside the cylinder more vacuum will be created, and that is because of the acceleration effect. Okay. So, pressure will fall further. So, this is the case. So, this additional drop in pressure in the cylinder due to the acceleration of the piston, right. So, this much amount of additional drop of pressure inside the cylinder is due to the acceleration of the piston. Okay. And what will happen at the end of the delivery, at the end of the suction stroke? So, when piston is about to reach at the outer end of the cylinder, then liquid inside the cylinder as well as in the pipeline will be decelerated, and as a result of which you try to understand, you should have physical sense. So, when piston is reaching at the outer end, so piston movement is almost going to be 0, then what will happen, that the pressure difference between suction tank and inside the cylinder will be reduced, and that is due to deceleration. So, again the equal amount of pressure will be here. So, though from the theoretical analysis, from the simplified analysis we had shown that the pressure up to the end of the delivery stroke will remain constant, but that is not the case. So, it will be the modified diagram. Okay. So, this is A prime and this is B prime, right. So, this is, I mean, if we superimpose, rather if we modify this diagram by this line A prime B prime, then we are, it is giving us an indication that we have taken the effect due to inertia into account. Similarly, you try to understand at the beginning of the delivery stroke, it is very important, let me tell you again, at the beginning of the delivery stroke, what will happen, you know, that the piston, see, movement of the crank and the piston is spontaneous, right. It is driven by, you know, a prime mover. So, the movement is spontaneous. So, when at the beginning of the suction stroke, the suction valve will be closed, because the pressure or the force acting across the suction valve is not sufficient to lift the piston off, right. So, what will happen, the suction valve will close, that is one way valve that we have discussed in the previous class. Now, delivery valve is remaining closed, suction valve will be closed, cylinder is now having certain amount of fluid mass, and next stroke is the delivery stroke. So, piston will have movement towards the inner end of the cylinder, and the amount of liquid accumulated during suction stroke inside the cylinder will now experiencing a thrust being created by the piston, right. So, again I am telling delivery valve is also a mechanical element. So, now it is very unlikely that the moment when piston is creating thrust on the liquid volume, liquid mass that is there inside the cylinder, the valve will open, you know at a time. So, instantly rather. So, it is not, it is very unlikely to rely, because it is mechanical device, it is mechanical element, it is also having inertia. So, we also need to create sufficient force imbalance which is acting across the delivery valve, and that force imbalance will be responsible to open, rather to lift the delivery valve off, and the liquid will be discharged to the delivery tank from the cylinder, right. So, what I am telling, the when rather at the moment, rather at the beginning of the delivery stroke, liquid mass will be experiencing a thrust being created by the piston, this movement is spontaneous. Momentarily, as if a force, other force is acting on the liquid volume, liquid mass, and when volume is remaining constant, and that is why we had seen that volume is remaining constant and there is abrupt rise, in pressure, and that is because of that. So, momentarily volume will remain constant because delivery valve will remain closed, right. So, volume is remaining constant and the pressure will rise, I can see drastically, that is which is seen from this indicated diagram. Now, when the force being applied at the delivery valve will go beyond a value, at a threshold value which is required to lift it off, then only liquid will start flowing from the cylinder into the delivery tank and pressure will reduce gradually. That is what our discussion we had. So, now today what we will see that when piston is creating a thrust on the liquid volume, you can understand it is creating a thrust. So, that pressure inside the cylinder will build up further. So, though we are expecting that this will be the pressure at the beginning of the delivery stroke, but not. So, considering the acceleration, so at the beginning of the, we had seen that at the beginning of the suction stroke we had acceleration. Similarly, at the beginning of the delivery stroke we will be having acceleration. So, liquid volume will be having liquid which is there inside the cylinder will be having acceleration. So, now as a result of which again that thrust is trying to build up pressure inside the cylinder, and so we need to modify this diagram again by this rise in pressure. So, this is C prime. What will happen at the end of the delivery stroke? At the end of the delivery stroke, liquid inside the cylinder as well as the delivery pipe will be decelerated. So, pressure inside the cylinder will no longer remain constant, rather it will drop. So, maybe it is coming this drop, and this is the case. So, this is D prime. See, the amount by which pressure will drop or increase inside the cylinder, it will depend on the magnitude of this fellow and this fellow. Okay. So, which in turn essentially depend on the u. So, which in turn will essentially depend on the rotational speed of the crank, which will depend on the cross sectional area of the cylinder. So, geometrical parameter of the cylinder, rather of the system itself, pipeline and the cylinder, length of the suction and delivery pipe, as well as the velocity of the piston, which in turn will eventually depend on the piston crank speed. Okay. So, this is basically till now we have considered one important effect, that is the inertia effect. Okay. Second effect is the frictional losses. So, this is not the final one, we have modified this diagram taking the effect due to inertia. Now, we need to also consider the effect, that is fluid friction. So, try to understand, you have studied again, I mean when liquid is flowing through suction pipeline, also in the delivery pipeline, should not we take into account the frictional losses? Definitely we must take into account all the frictional losses that is there in the suction pipeline as well as in the delivery pipeline. So, if we try to consider frictional losses in the suction pipeline and the delivery pipeline, so you know that you have studied in the undergraduate fluid mechanics course, right, HF. So, basically eventually see that head loss pressure eventually. So, some amount of pressure. So, basically due to friction both in the suction and delivery pipe lines, pressure loss will be there. So, that you also need to take, rather that also need to represent in this diagram. So, now that you have studied that it is written frictional loss equal to F L by D V square by 2g, right. Now, again this is fluid velocity and this is, so this is length of the suction pipeline and delivery pipeline. Now, HF into S. So, this is HF suction line, it will be F Ls by D. So, this is D, let me erase it again. Small d, that is the diameter of the relevant pipeline. So, this is D, then V S square by 2g. So, I am writing V square by 2g. Okay. Probably I have discussed in one of the previous classes that this F, if we take 4F, nothing wrong with it, rather though all other conditions remain identical, by taking 4F we are trying to reach the closure, I mean rather we are trying to mimic the losses due to friction, I mean very close to the real one. So, we can consider 4F. Now again we have to relate this V with the speed of the piston. V we really do not know, rather this is not the quite what I can say. You have studied in fluid mechanics that length scale, velocity scale and time scale, either that is quite natural or that is imposed. So, here the fluid that will be there inside the suction pipeline, that will be there in the delivery pipeline, that is imposed, and that is imposed by the speed of the piston. So, now again if I try to write HF delivery line equal to 4F LD by DD Vs Vd square by 2g, right. Next objective should be that our next objective should be to relate this Vd and Vs to the speed of the piston. So, now for that again we need to look at the schematic depiction. Say this is the movement is instantaneous. So, say initially piston is at a, we are talking about suction stroke, when piston is at the inner end of the cylinder and piston is about to start its journey. So, this is the initial location and piston has traversed x. By that time that this is crank angle, crank has rotated in the clockwise direction and the angle is theta. So, now you can understand basically we need to calculate the displacement, crank displacement. So, this is initial location of the crank and this is final location of the crank, right. So, crank has displaced this amount, rather this is physical displacement, right. So, this is the initial location of the crank and crank has displacement which is theta, right, angular displacement, and which is shown by theta over here, and it has moved to this location. So, what is the linear displacement of the crank if we try to calculate, because the rotational, I mean angular velocity will be converted, this rotational speed of the crank will be converted to the linear movement, and that is why this connecting rod mechanism is there. Now, what is the linear displacement of the crank? You can see this is also r, and what about this distance. So, if we try to calculate this, I mean if we give this is capital R, right. So, the capital R will be, so displacement equation of the crank, right. So, you can see that I mean this x will be, so this is the linear displacement of the crank eventually, because connecting rod has traversed from location A to B and which is equal to the angular displacement of the crank. So, I can see if this is the r, then rather I can write this x equal to r, that equal to small r plus, what is this? So, this is 180 minus theta. So, this is 180 minus theta, right, this by this, that is cos 180 minus theta. So, r cos pi minus theta. So, this is r minus r cos theta, right. So, our objective is to have movement of the piston u, right. So, we have to relate this v with u. So, u equal to dx dt equal to, you can see, so I can see this is r minus r cos omega t. Say, see if we say that at time this displacement at time t, this is the angular displacement theta, right. So, that is, this is omega into t, theta is equal to omega into t, that we can write, that we have learned. So, I am not going to discuss. So, we can write that at time t that the angular displacement is theta. So, what will be the case? So, it will be r omega sin omega t. So, u equal to r omega sin theta, right. We can see r omega sin theta. Now, this is very simple, you have done, so you have studied it, you have done several problems using this in your machine design and kinematics courses. Now, what we need to do? We need to relate Vs and Vd in terms of again what, that is the piston speed. Okay. So, you can see that 4f Ls by d v square by 2g. So, if we go to the next slide, so Hf suction or delivery, it will be equal to 4f Ls comma d ds comma d Vs comma d square by 2g, right. Now, you know that small a into v equal to capital A into u. So, small v equal to a by a into u. So, if we try to plug in this value, eventually this expression will take this form, for f Ls comma d divided by ds comma d into, you can see a by a whole square into u square by 2g, is it? This is the expression, right. So, this is the frictional losses. So, somehow we have been able to relate the, rather we have been able to establish the losses due to friction both at the suction and delivery pipeline in terms of the piston speed u. Okay. So, now question is, you try to understand, this is u square, right. What about u? U equal to r omega sin theta from the previous slide. Try to understand. Now, if we try to go back to the first slide wherein we have tried to modify the indicated diagram using these two effects. So, till now we have considered the inertia effect. So, you try to understand at the beginning of the suction stroke when theta equal to 0. So, now when theta equal to 0, then u equal to 0, frictional loss is not there, is it. So, you can understand, right. So, at the beginning of suction stroke and end of, so I am, let me write, not here, stroke theta equal to 0. So, u equal to 0, right. So, at the beginning of the suction stroke. What about at the end? So, again theta equal to 0, and I also write end of suction stroke. So, I will write in a generic form that at the end of suction comma delivery stroke, or at the end of, at the beginning, rather I can write in a more generic form. So, it is, let me write it. So, at the beginning stroke end of the suction stroke delivery stroke theta equal to 0, therefore, u equal to 0, right. So, that we can see from this expression, if u equal to 0, we do not require to consider the frictional losses. Okay. So, you can understand at the beginning and end of the suction and delivery stroke, what will happen? Frictional loss is 0. So, this is same. So, A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, these 4 points, I mean will have no frictional losses. What will be the case rather at the middle of the suction and delivery stroke when theta equal to 90 and 270, right. So, at the, let me write, at the middle of suction and delivery stroke, so that means theta equal to 90 and 270 degree equal to u max, velocity will be maximum, velocity is not equal to 0. So, at the beginning and end of the suction and delivery stroke, you can understand u equal to 0, but though velocity equal to 0, but acceleration and deceleration is maximum. U equal to 0, but del u, that is what we have written, right, that is del u del t is maximum. Right. So, frictional loss is 0, but inertia effect is maximum. At the middle of the suction and delivery stroke, velocity is maximum, but del u del t equal to 0. That is, frictional loss will be maximum, but the inertia effect will vanish. So, the inertia effect vanish at the middle of the suctional delivery stroke, because velocity is maximum. So, there is no change in velocity with time du dt 0. If we try to superimpose, rather if we try to modify the indicated diagram considering this effect, then what will be the rather how this diagram will, I mean the diagram of this the indicated diagram will be modified and how it will look like. So, that is our next task is. So, you understand at the beginning and end of the suction and delivery stroke, no frictional loss and inertia is maximum, while at the middle if I try to modify this diagram using different colors, say I am trying to modify using this color, rather I am trying to using this color. So, at the middle the frictional effect will be maximum, at the middle frictional effect will be maximum, right, but there is no inertia effect because acceleration and deceleration is equal to 0, fine. Now, you try to understand, if we try to superimpose the effect due to fluid friction, the frictional losses both in the suction delivery pipeline, mathematically we have understood that effect will be maximum at the middle of the stroke and effect is not there at the end of the end and beginning of the stroke. Now, but again I am trying, again I am telling you, because we need to know whether it will be a straight line or it will be a curve. If it is a curve, then what will be the nature of the curve, right. So, now see, you have studied that if you look at this particular expression, right, if you look at this particular expression, this loss varies with v square, right. So, this is very important, the nature of the curve, rather the effect due to friction, if we consider the frictional effect and if we try to modify the indicator diagram, the modified curve, the nature of the modified curve will follow this equation, because frictional losses is governed by this equation. So, nature of the modified curve means the curve is modified by taking the effect due to fluid frictional losses, will definitely follow this nature. So, that means you can understand this is parabola in nature. So, this is parabola in nature HF. So, you can understand this HF is proportional to Vs stroke d square. So, modified indicator diagram which is modified by, rather which will be modified by this effect will follow this nature of this curve, and if we try to superimpose, then this curve will be like this, this curve will be like this. So, this is parabola and at the end and beginning it is 0 and this is maximum. So, this is H s, rather I can say H f s maximum, similarly H f d maximum. Okay. So, we have understood that this is actually, so basically if I give the name, say I am using another color, say green color, A prime, E, B prime, C prime, E d. So, the modified, I am writing the modified diagram and modified curve is A prime, E, B prime, C prime, F, D prime. So, it will be F. So, this will be F. So, this point is F and this point is E. So, the modified curve is A prime, E, B prime, C prime, F, D prime. Okay. So, if we would like to summarize our today's discussion, we had discussed about the simplified analysis in the previous class of the indicator diagram. Today we have seen that if we take additional two effects into account and these two effects are very much there in real system, then the actual indicator diagram will look like this. And not only that, we have also tried to establish the nature of the curve from the mathematical analysis. Okay, so with this I stop here today and we will continue our discussion in the next class. Thank you.